Today, I want to talk about your creative diet and what you're putting on your plate. This is going to help you immensely when it comes to things like inspiration, motivation, and actually making your art. We hear so much about what we put into our bodies from a nutritional point of view. And if you are an athlete, for example, you will have strict guidelines around your inputs, your routines, and how you structure your life in order to reach your goals. So, what about creative people? What is it that we need to optimize ourselves to reach our full creative potential? It's a bit more abstract than the athletes because it's not a straight line, and our output as a creative is sometimes hard to measure. But maybe we shouldn't be looking at the output and we should be looking at the input. As creatives, we tend to focus heavily on two things. One, the process of making or creating, and two, the final result, the completed work. What we tend to neglect or underappreciate is the input. This is important because it's the foundation that the output is built from. The input is the antecedent to creativity. You could liken this to inspiration, but I think it is taking it a step before that even. The input stage is ongoing, and it's looking at things like your daily habits, because at the end of the day, we are just an accumulation of the things that we do every day. So in order to be the best version of our creative selves, we need to look at our inputs and curate them carefully. If we want to be creative people, then we need creative inputs. The same way the athlete needs certain foods or supplements to reach their goals, run the marathon in record time, or play the game to the best of their ability. A great way to think of this is your creative diet as a plate. So let's move on to the next phase and investigate exactly what is on your plate and how that's affecting you as a creative person. Looking at your inputs over a typical week and breaking that down, looking at how those inputs and what you're consuming is affecting your results is going to be really, really helpful. So let's say your plate looks a little bit like this, and no judgment here. My plate definitely looks like this sometimes too. Phone usage. Things like social media, checking the news, and just constantly picking up your phone and always checking things or looking for like a hit of dopamine or a distraction. Laptop, TV, or your desktop computer, which can be great creative tools, obviously, but can also lead to things like constant emails, generally just adding to your screen time. Let's put your bank card on the plate as well. Are you somebody who impulse shops, or you buy things when you're feeling low or to try and make yourself feel better? Are you a creative person who is held back because you're ruled by your expenses? Okay, so now we have your plate. Let's look at everything that is on here. Do you think this composition of things, habits, activities is going to lead to an open-minded person who is ready to receive inputs from the world and turn them into amazing creative ideas? Probably not. What I want to do now is show you a plate that is rich in inspiration, creativity, and healthy habits that will help you as an artist. So your new plate looks something like this. Books are amazing, and it's so tempting to just keep scrolling on your phone and not pick up that book that you've been meaning to read. Putting this on your plate doesn't mean that you need to read like 10 books a month. I'm talking just a few pages every day to add to your creativity diet. Setting up a little routine around when you do this, the same way you might if you were trying to take a supplement or something. My husband puts our little boy to bed each night, and while he's sitting there waiting for him to fall asleep, he will read a book. And it's really surprising how many books he's gotten through just dedicating that small amount of time to reading. This doesn't have to be like a nonfiction self-help book or even a novel if you are not that way inclined. That's totally fine. It could be an art book. It could be a photo book. It could just be something that you like looking through. It could be a magazine, just something to get you off your phone and reconnect with like that part of your brain. This one is my absolute favorite, galleries and creative spaces. I recently went to a gallery on the weekend with family, and it was in the city. So it was one of those like really big, expansive galleries, and it just made me feel so creatively enriched. I loved the experience, and I'm not even a painter or a sculptor or anything like that. But just seeing all these works of art and being exposed to so many creative things just gave me a flood of inspiration. I was just like bursting at the seams, wanting to create things or jump on here on YouTube and talk to you guys about creativity. So it really gave me a boost. Even being in those spaces that are really open like that, and the actual buildings themselves are beautiful. If there's somewhere you can go that evokes those feelings, it could be a, botanical garden full of beautiful flowers. Creations or spaces that foster and hold up creativity can be so powerful for you. So it's something you should definitely be adding to your plate. The next thing you should be popping on your plate is music. Ditch the TikTok dances and endless scrolling and instead pop some music on in your home. If you have something like a record player, that's really great because it's a tangible experience you can have. But just pop your headphones on and expose yourself to new sounds. I really, really like listening to ambient music or kind of music that's got it's world music. So the person that's singing is speaking in a different language or something like that. Just, cool things that are new and they'll just ignite that creative kind of passion in you again, that curiosity to learn more about it. And I really do think that sounds and music can help to relax us. It can help to spark new ideas. And I have this vision of like a painter being really inspired by music. I am not a painter. I cannot paint. I've always wanted to. I just take photos. That's my preferred medium of art. And I have found that when I go on a photo walk and I listen to music, it does really kind of just light up that part of my brain. So definitely be including regular music. I notice if I don't listen to music for a long period of time, I can be quite grumpy. And if I'm in the car on my own and I can blast some of my favorite songs or just have some time to listen to music in the bath or something like that, it really, really boosts my mood. And we all know that positivity leads to more creativity. This one is so simple, but writing with a pen. Pop a pen on your creative plate and add it to your diet. Oh my God. It's just totally different to like typing on a computer, which is something I'm doing a lot. Just grabbing a pen and like writing on paper, you get into a flow after a while. It can be quite hard if you're not used to doing it. It can feel very foreign and can kind of feel overwhelming and confronting. So having some prompts or doing something like The Artist's Way, doing daily pages. There's plenty of videos here on YouTube of different styles of journaling, but it doesn't have to be this like big thing. You don't have to buy this expensive journal, and you can just jot down ideas or cool things. Or if you like drawing, just drawing, doodling pictures, just putting pen to paper, I think is really therapeutic and a great way to get out your creative ideas on paper. So that would be my ideal plate, designed to foster creativity and just a healthy person all round who can then have a lot more creative output. Or if you're struggling to finish off a project, lock into the work, find time to do it. It's likely going to be something that's on that first plate, like Netflix, video games, your phone, TikTok. Those are the things that stand in the way of you and the work. And it can be really hard to accept. And we spend a lot of time looking for other excuses and things that could be going wrong. It's because I need a new camera, or it's because I need a new idea. This one sucks. Like, you can just keep making excuses for yourself. But really, at the end of the day, it's down to you. You're in control of your plate and your diet and your lifestyle as a creative. So consider starting to slowly implement the things that I have suggested here. And then when you're putting pen to paper, which was one of the things, you can track how you're feeling and see, okay, has this made a difference? Has this made more space for me as a creative person? Nothing changes if nothing changes. And you are the one who needs to identify that these things are a problem and then actively make the change. I do think it's particularly hard for creative people because there is no rule book. Like, I made the analogy with the athlete, and there's strict parameters around what they need to do to get X result. But with creatives, everything can be quite loose and open. And it just leads to a lot of inaction and overthinking and all of these problems that we stumble across. And whilst there are people out there that we can look to, there's no rule book, and it's a lot more abstract. So I'm hoping that with these videos and with this channel, I can show up here for you and empathize and then offer my advice on what I do to help myself in the hope that it will also help all of you creative people out there who are watching.